Imagine hiring a plumber to fix a leaky sink in a hotel. Instead of escorting him to the maintenance closet, the front desk hands him a master key card that unlocks every guest room, the manager's office, and the main vault. Then they tell him, just turn it back in when you're done with the sink. But, of course, you would never do that in the physical world. Yet, in enterprise IT networks, this happens every single day. Welcome back to the Argos White Hat channel. I'm Argos, with 2 decades of experience in IT security. We skip the boring theory to focus strictly on what matters: real attacks, active threats, and effective defenses. Let's dive into today's topic. Third-party cyber risk management. When a vendor is brought in to manage a specific application, fix a database, or maintain an HVAC system, the standard, lazy IT response is, just give them a persistent VPN profile and domain admin rights so they can get the job done without opening another support ticket. This creates an incredibly dangerous scenario known as lateral movement. If a hacker compromises a single remote laptop belonging to a technician at an external consulting firm, the hacker doesn't just own that consulting firm. They instantly inherit that technician's broad, unsegmented, high-level access inside your enterprise network. We saw this exact scenario play out in the NYC Health Plus Hospitals breach, highlighted in recent Hornet security threat reports. The intrusion didn't start inside the hospital's core infrastructure. It started with a vendor compromise. Because the vendor's identity credentials and federated access paths weren't strictly ring-fenced, the attackers pivoted effortlessly from the partner network straight into the internal healthcare environment. When you give a third-party an all-access pass to your network, you are betting your entire corporate security posture on the security practices of an outside entity. If their employee clicks a phishing link or reuses a password, your company pays the price. And if you think that's terrifying, wait until you see what happens when the contract actually ends. If you're gaining insight from this breakdown, take a second to hit subscribe below. It really helps the channel keep putting out these deep dives. Right now, the world's biggest enterprises are spending millions of dollars building unbreachable front doors. They have the best firewalls, top-tier EDRs, and a 24/7 SOC team. But there's a dirty little secret in enterprise security that the boardroom doesn't want to talk about. Hackers aren't trying to kick down the front door anymore. Why bother when the trusted vendors, suppliers, and contractors are handing them a master key to the back door? According to the latest Verizon data breach investigations report, breaches involving a third-party vendor skyrocketed to 30% of all corporate hacks. It is the largest single-year jump in the history of the report. And according to IBM, when a hacker gets in through your supply chain, it takes an average of 267 days before anyone even notices. That is nearly 9 months of an attacker sitting silently in your network, reading your emails, stealing your source code, and mapping your crown jewels. If you are a security professional, an IT admin, or just someone trying to figure out how the world's most secure corporations keep getting dismantled from the inside, you need to understand the 3 fatal flaws in vendor risk management. By the end of this video, we are going to look at the exact blueprints attackers use to turn trusted suppliers into malicious Trojan horses and how the blue team can stop it. If you find this kind of deep dive breakdown valuable, make sure to show some love to the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing so you don't miss our weekly threat breakdowns. Let's unpack gap number 1, blind onboarding. Think about how a standard enterprise signs a new vendor. Procurement sends out a request for proposal. They look at the vendor's financial health, their insurance liability, their pricing, and maybe they check if their CEO has a clean background. If the numbers look good, the legal team signs the contract. This is a fatal mistake. Financial stability does not equal cyber maturity. When a company onboard a new vendor without a strict, continuous technical audit, they are essentially practicing blind trust. Hackers know this. In fact, Threat intelligence teams are tracking sophisticated state-sponsored groups and access brokers who deliberately target small, mid-market companies specifically because they know those companies are key suppliers to major enterprises. Look at what happened in the massive Team PCP supply chain attacks covered heavily by the Hacker News. Attackers didn't try to breach the massive enterprise environments directly. Instead, they compromised developer accounts at trusted software tool providers. By injecting a malicious package into a vulnerability scanner used in over 10,000 CI/CD pipelines globally, they let the software developers themselves pull the malware straight into the heart of corporate networks. If you are only checking a vendor's Dun & Bradstreet credit score, you are letting a potential Trojan horse right past your castle walls. If an organization doesn't demand a software bill of materials, an SBOM, or evaluate real-time technical posture via continuous vulnerability scanning, they are playing Russian roulette with their data. But let's say the vendor is clean. They're a legitimate company with great intentions. What happens when they connect to your network? That brings us to the second, and arguably most explosive gap: overprivileged access. This is the gap that keeps blue teamers awake at night: ghost vendors and zombie accounts. When a project is finished or a contract expires, the business moves on. Procurement updates their internal spreadsheets, the vendor stops billing, and everyone assumes the relationship is closed. But what happens in Active Directory? What happens to that dedicated VPN tunnel or that legacy file transfer application? More often than not, nothing happens. It is completely forgotten. Out of sight, out of mind. These stagnant accounts turn into what we call zombie accounts. Active authentication profiles that have zero legitimate business purpose, but still possess full remote access privileges. Bleeping Computer's third-party breach tracker is filled with incidents hitting companies like SoFi Hong Kong, Vimeo, and LastPass suppliers, where hackers successfully hunted down these exact forgotten entry points. Attackers actively scan the internet looking for legacy endpoints, unmonitored vendor portals, or old SaaS identities. The beauty of a zombie account for a hacker is that it provides a low-noise intrusion path. When a threat actor logs into your network using a valid, retired vendor credential, your automated alert systems don't trigger a red alert. Why? Because the login looks perfectly legitimate. The system sees a valid username and a valid password. Because nobody is monitoring the account, the hacker can sit there for months, conducting internal reconnaissance, exfiltrating intellectual property, and setting up ransomware persistence. It explains exactly why the average supply chain breach goes undetected for 267 days. The back door isn't just unlocked, it's wide open, and nobody is checking the lock. So how do we fix a system that is fundamentally broken? If you are a CISO, a security engineer, or a consultant advising enterprise clients, you cannot rely on old-school, static check-the-box security. You have to implement a modern third-party risk management playbook. Here are the 3 pillars of a resilient defense. First, you must fix the onboarding process by adopting the NIST SP 800-161 standard for supply chain risk management. Stop relying entirely on static point-in-time questionnaires or financial reviews. Implement continuous technical validation. Require your high-risk vendors to provide verifiable software bills of materials, SBOMs. Verify their patch hygiene via external asset discovery tools, and tie contract approvals to continuous technical scoring. Second, you must completely eliminate persistent vendor access. Transition your architecture away from legacy VPNs and move towards zero-trust network access, ZTNA. Implement the concept of just-in-time JIT access, coupled with strict micro-segmentation. A vendor should have absolutely zero access to your network by default. When they need to perform work, a time-limited access window should spin up only for the specific application they are contracted to fix, and it should automatically tear itself down the moment the ticket closes. Finally, you must automate identity governance. Human beings are terrible at remembering to delete old accounts. Your procurement or vendor management system must be programmatically linked to your identity provider, IDP. The second a vendor contract hits its expiration date in the system, a workflow should trigger that automatically disables all associated user identities, API keys, and federated access paths. Zero human intervention required. Securing an enterprise isn't just about patching your own servers anymore. It's about validating the entire ecosystem of trust that surrounds your business. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Have you ever discovered a zombie account left over from an old vendor at your workplace? What's the longest you've seen one stay active? Let me know below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next threat breakdown. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you head out.